This is Ben Shalom, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so the WBA have released their new rankings for the month of March. They're the first to do so each and every month that they are, so we do have to give them some pat on the back for that one, but that's probably about as far as it's going to go if we're being brutally honest. It's not impressive. But anyway, we're going to go through the top 15 in the heavyweight division as we do each and every month, as I do with all the other sanctioning bodies. So make sure you are subscribed. Nobody else here on YouTube does this each and every month the way that I do. So make sure you do it. You're a boxing fan, click that subscribe button. Now, I'm going to go through the top 15, point out what changes have been made compared to last month, see what fights have recently happened, what fights are coming up, all that kind of good stuff. And of course, I'll give you an overall summary of their top 15 for the month of March for the WBA heavyweight division. And it goes as such. The WBA super heavyweight champion is Oleksandr Usyk. The WBA regular world heavyweight champion is Daniel Dubois. Number 1 is currently not rated, i.e. vacant. Number 2, Martin Bakole. Number 3, Deontay Wilder. Number 4, Anthony Joshua. Number 5, Lenier Perro. Number 6, Arsenbek Makhmadov. Number 7, Luis Ortiz. Number 8, Filip Herkovich. Number 9, Jonathan Guidry. Number 10, Lucas Brown. Number 11, Jarrell Miller. Number 12, Trevor Bryan. Number 13, Fabio. Number 14, Fabio Wardley. And number 15, Ivan Daichko. So that's top 15 for the WBA in the heavyweight division for the month of March. I swear, each and every time I do this, I always feel like I'm sounding like the guy back in the day for football results, going through the league tables and right after you spend a couple of hours on teletext. Anyway, now changes for this month. Nobody's dropped out and there is no fresh insert into the top 15, which is quite unusual for the WBA to have done that. So it's pretty much the top 15 as it was last month. The only real change is Lenier Perro. Now, Lenier Perro was number 6 last month. Now he's number 5. He's moved up because he defeated a undefeated Ukrainian heavyweight, Viktor Vykast. Now, Lenier Perro was getting battered in that fight. He was losing that fight quite royally. But he does what a lot of heavyweights do. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter how the fight's going, it's how the fight ends. He gets a knockout in round number 8. So he wins that fight and he moves up a position to number 5. Now, this is Lenier Perro. Was he 10-0 now, I think he is? And this Viktor Vykast, he was about 11-0, I think he was. But he's still a novice, Lenier Perro. He's still a novice. Listen, he may well have been an outstanding amateur, but amateur is amateur, pro boxing is pro boxing, right? They're two different sports, essentially. But you don't get a number 5 position for fighting the kind of opposition that he has fought. In my opinion, to get a number 5 position, you have to have defeated at least 1 or 2 people currently in the rankings or who were in the rankings. He hasn't beaten anybody who's been ranked in the top 15 of any organisation. That is way too high. Now, he may well be a WBA Federation champion or something like that, or a Latino type champion, whatever. But so what? He hasn't beat anybody. It's too high. Let's see him step up. Let's see him take on somebody in this top 15. Let's justify this position next month, okay? Anyway, other than that, there's no real changes. Now, a couple of fights, of course, have been announced. They have been made and they are coming up. And so we'll get to them one. So number 10, Lucas Brown versus number 11, Big Baby Jarrell Miller. That'll be happening in a couple of weeks' time. I think it's March the 18th off the top of my head. And I remember it being in Dubai. John O'Carroll's also on that undercard, if I remember rightly, too. So them two are going to go at it. Neither one of these two should be ranked in the top 15. They shouldn't be, for obvious reasons, right? Now, Lucas Brown, he's the Oceania WBA heavyweight champion after he pulled off that shock upset win over Junior Farr. Now, he was supposed to fight Manuel Charr recently, but of course the promoters turned out to be going by what Lucas Brown and Manuel Charr and everybody said, complete con men, right? So that fight never took place, but now he's going to take on Big Baby Jarrell Miller. Miller, of course, after his suspensions for multiple PD uses and all that kind of stuff, has come back, took on a couple of bin men, and now he's about to take on another one. Listen, I've always liked Lucas Brown, but reality is reality, right? But is it a good fight, an interesting fight? Yeah, it's interesting, but one good outcome for this one, that whoever loses it ain't going to be in the top 15 anymore. So that's going to be good. Number 13, Ajak Kabiel. He's fighting this weekend, I think he's fighting, against a Croatian heavyweight who resides in Germany. I forgot his name, but it's going to be for the European heavyweight title, a title that Ajak Kabiel once held. Now, he never lost the belt. He vacated the belt. He gave it up when he was mandated to take on Joe Joyce. So he vacated it because he didn't want to fight Joe Joyce, basically. So now he's going to go back around the circle again and try and pick up that belt again. It's like he's stepping back. I don't understand the method behind it. For what reason do you need to do it? I don't know. So I'd like to see Kabiel take on someone in the top 15. He's not justifying this position. He's not. I'm not saying he's not a top 15 fighter. He may well be. Listen, he beat Derek Chisora some odd years ago in Monte Carlo on a Matchroom show, but what else has he really done? He needs to be fighting someone in the top 15, but he ain't doing it. So Bob Arum, Top Rank, whoever it is that's promoting him, I believe it's still Top Rank, sort him out, will you? Get this fight for the European title done this weekend, then get him in there with a live wire. Put him in there, if he is still a Top Rank fighter, put him in there with Jared Anderson or Makhmudov or whatever, okay? They should be pretty simple fights to make. But they are terrible rankings. Number 9, Jonathan Guidry, should not be in the top 15. Shouldn't be. You know, he just defeated Bermane Stiverne. Bermane Stiverne, who's lost his last 3,552 fights. Okay? He should not be there. He lost to Trevor Bryan. If you lose to Trevor Bryan, listen, I don't care if he's on a split decision or not. I don't care. You lost to Trevor Bryan. Trevor Bryan is garbage. He's garbage. In fact, I could probably give Trevor Bryan a run for his money, if we're being honest. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit here. But you lost to him. Listen, he had a decent win over a 7-0 prospect, DeCary Scott. But what's he done? Well, he's a Don King fighter. That's why he's there. For me, Jonathan Guidry, right, now it's time to earn it. Like with always, fight somebody in the top 15. That's not Trevor Bryan. Okay, fight somebody in the top 15 and justify this position. Trust me, it's quite a few puddings in this top 15. Speaking of which, number 7, Luis Ortiz. The guy who used to breastfeed some ancient pharaohs and that. But listen, this guy, who's he beat? Nobody. He's lost to Andy Reese Jr., who's incidentally not ranked in the top 15. So why is he ranked at number 7? Why? I don't get that. Is he going to fight somebody in the top 15 to justify it? Listen, he may well do. Maybe he'll take on a couple of easy fights like a Jonathan Guidry or Lucas Brown or a Trevor Bryan or someone. Maybe. But is he going to? No. Probably not. He'll end up fighting Dominic Brazil or someone you watch. For me, I don't think Luis Ortiz should be here. Martin Bakole, number 2. That's too high. That is too high. I'm not saying he's not a top 15 fighter. What I'm saying is number 2 position is too high. Bearing in mind the number 1 position is vacant, which was previously held by Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter got dropped from this ranking and all other rankings because he weren't paying his sanction fees and inactivity, I believe it was. So that's currently vacant. So therefore, Martin Bakole is the top-rated fighter who's not a champion in the WBA rankings. Now, he did get a good win over Tony Yoka. It was a very impressive win. It was. But the reality is, Tony Yoka was a prospect. Olympic gold medalist, sure, but prospect. He defeated a prospect. That doesn't justify the top position in the WBA. It doesn't. Let's see him, and I know Billy Nelson won't with his crazy no hairs. He ain't going to risk it. Go fight Arsenbek Makhmudov, number 6. Fight him. Let's see what Martin Bakole's really made of. One thing to fight prospects, fight Makhmudov. Fight a Ajak Kabiel. Fight a Wilder. Is he? No, you can pretty much guarantee Martin Bakole is going to fight a pudding. You know, Billy Nelson will ensure of it. That's what he's going to do next. He's going to fight a pudding, claim inactivity, all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, what can you do? Obviously, number 4, Anthony Joshua. He's fighting Jermaine Franklin in a month's time. All going well, he win that one. I'm sure he will. Then again, let's see him take on somebody in the top 15, somebody well ranked in another sanctioning body. However, okay, I want to see Anthony Joshua back in the mix and knocking on the door of world titles, mandatory challenges, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I do expect his next fight to be against Filip Hrgović. And I made this prediction, a month ago? that he's going to end up fighting Filipovic in the summertime. It won't be Dillian Whyte. It's going to be Filipovic. And the reason why I said Filipovic is because the IBF ordered Filipovic to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. for the IBF mandatory position and, of course, the interim world heavyweight title. Andy Ruiz Jr. pulled out of the negotiations when it went to purse bid. Next in line will be Wilder. That's going to happen exactly the same way Andy Ruiz Jr. done. Next in line is Anthony Joshua. So I do feel that fight's going to happen. Of course, we are hearing rumours that he could be fighting Deontay Wilder in Saudi Arabia in the summertime. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what Anthony Joshua does next. In fact, it's going to be interesting to see how he looks against Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin proved that he's a very durable, tough, and the kind of opponent that I think a lot of people overlooked, even though he came into the ring with a pretty good record when he fought Dillian Whyte. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how Anthony Joshua gets on. Hopefully he beats him. I'm sure he will. Other than that, no great changes. Number 14, Fabio Wardley. He's a British heavyweight champion. Again, considering his background of white-collar boxing and everything, yeah, he's done absolutely fantastic, hasn't he? Some good wins as well. Good wins. Domestically, of course, but good wins. It's going to be very interesting to see what Fabio Wardley does next. It really will. Anyway, my thoughts, drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.